everybody. Welcome back to Trick Tracker Special Show in the Air with me, Nivedna Prabhu. Of course, we are talking about day 2 of the fifth and final rescheduled test match between England or India. And यहाँ पे quite some stunning performances from Team India and एक wicket भी गिर चुका है for England in terms of their first innings. लेकिन coming back to talk about this particular match, rain once again has played a little bit of a villain's role. Now, the day 2 lunch summary being that 416 for 10 is of course on India's side. जहाँ पे दूसरी तरफ England have already lost one wicket, 16 for 1. Alex Lees is out and Bumrah has got him. Zach Crawley, on the other hand, 7 not out for 11. Now, let's continue talking about this particular session. Hi, Pratay. Welcome back in the studio. It's great to have you. सबसे पहले बात करेंगे. We expected this test match has definitely shown us, once again how incredible Bumrah is. For some reason, there's a sense of deja vu once again, like we've spoken earlier as well. If you go back to last year, with that Mohammad Shami and Jasprit Bumrah का जो partnership था, we thought pressure होगा क्योंकि he's stand-in captain. लेकिन लगता है pressure is just a cakewalk for him. It doesn't matter क्योंकि यहाँ पे he's taken one wicket. In that 11 runs in 2 overs. But we have to talk about that particular over against Stuart Broad. I'm sure everybody is waiting to talk about that. सबसे पहले उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. What is your takeaway from this fantastic performance of his?
Well, who would have thought that we'll be discussing Bumrah, the batter, not the bowler? But that was absolutely mind-boggling hitting. I mean, 35 runs in an over, a record that, of course, no bowler would want to have against his or her name. But unfortunate for Broad, would have brought some memories back from 2007 as well. He was treated similarly by Yuvraj Singh, and he was a batter of some caliber. You do not expect Jasprit Bumrah to be doing such things. But the way he was batting, I mean, he was just having fun. And I think Broad with the new ball, I mean, that was a little bit more surprising when you have Bumrah in front of you. But you still have to bowl with discipline. You still have to make sure that you're doing the correct things. He did not quite end up doing that way. And kind of a bittersweet moment because he had struck quite just a while back, took his 550th test wicket, and then getting that unwanted record against his name. So yeah, kind of a mixed morning for him. But India would be really, really pleased. I mean, we were talking that if they could close in on 400 runs, and they managed to put 16 more than that. And at this stage, Nivedna, every single run is going to count because these are really hard-earned runs. And you want, I mean, as many runs as you can possibly score, you would want to have them in your kitty. And I think great start as well. Striking early with the ball, the top order wobble of England also continuing. So I think in a great position. I think yesterday when we left, the match was pretty much in balance. But right now, you will have to say that India is slightly ahead on all accounts against England.
In terms of the bowling department, of course, we expect Bumrah to always, perform. But in terms of batting, how much of you all did expect this to be repeating as well? Tell me in the comments. But another performance that we spoke about, to Pratik ko maine bola tha, do not jinx it, is Ravindra Jadeja's century, which he finally got. And outstanding to see him once again perform with the bat. Of course, he, Pratik did dive into that whole aspect of how he's one of the most amazing all-rounders that we've seen, and one name that definitely comes to our mind. Lekin, 104 runs. I'm pretty sure Sanjay Manjrekar will have a lot to say about this. But Pratik, that's of course on a lighter note. But just to kind of look at how much he has contributed in today's test match as well, because 2 names have overshadowed him clearly: the Bumrah show and yesterday's show, Punch show. But we have to give him due credit for this performance.
Absolutely, no doubt. I mean, that's a gem of an innings, and I think if India does go on to clinch this game, you will have to give as much credit to Jadeja as you will have to probably give to Rishabh Pant, because as I said that his role was extremely crucial in the partnership as well. He was very mature. He acted like the senior batter, allowing Rishabh Pant to play with freedom, go for his strokes while he took the back seat. And later on, when he was dismissed once Pant was out, he took the responsibility, he took the charge upon himself. Of course, he got great support from Bumrah. But now we know that, I mean, a couple of instances in this series itself are kind of starting to prove that let's start taking Bumrah, the batter, slightly more seriously maybe, and even Mohammad Shami to an extent, because these guys are scoring runs. I mean, if you are a number 10, 11 batter and you're giving these 20, 25 runs on a consistent basis, you do not expect more than that from anyone. Because the last wicket partnership as well, I mean, yielding some around 40, 45 runs to India. These are really crucial runs. And I think what really matters the most is that at a point of time, you go 5, 7 years ago, India was the team that used to have this problem where they would not be able to wrap up the tails. They
Right.
were the team who were at the receiving end of this. They would not be able to wrap up the tails. The tail would wag. Probably you have had, I mean, even in the 2018 series, Sam Curran was a thorn in the flesh. I mean, the couple of partnerships that he went on to make, India easily lost a couple of test matches there. So it's really heartening to see that India, something that they have been at the receiving end of, now they are making other teams, kind of have a taste of their own medicine. And like you even pointed out, I mean, Lords, that partnership between Bumrah and Shami, 89 runs. What a stellar partnership that was. Today we saw that again. So I think that probably now we have to start taking Bumrah and Shami, the batters, a little more seriously.
Course, talking about some top class performances that we've had. Now it's very difficult to choose who we like, whether it's Pant, Bumrah, or of course Jadeja. Tell me in the comments, आपको सबसे ज़्यादा impress है. Now, talking about the batting card, here, if you just take a look at that summary as well, some fascinating numbers. Of course, we would have expected the top order to perform much better. Also, Shreyas Iyer and his struggle with the short ball is yet another thing that has been the talk of the town as well. We'll probably get to that in a bit. But coming back to the batting card, I think we've spoken enough of where they stand. If you could take a look at the bowling aspect as well, if we do have that on our screens, and then once we come to the bowling lineup as well, on the other hand, we'll probably get talking. We don't have that probably. Okay, we have it here. James Anderson 5 for 60, Matty Potts 2 for 105, Ben Stokes 1 for 47, Joe Root 1 for 23. So basically, the only person who's gone without a wicket is Jack Leach. Coming to you, Pratik, we of course spoke about the fact that Bumrah's got an early start. But who else are the bowlers from the India's lineup where you did say that Mohammad Siraj will also do the job? You think you're pretty confident? How many wickets each if we had to predict?
Well, I think they are definitely going to play a crucial role because these are world-class pacers. When you're talking about them, all three of them have proven their credentials pretty much to a great extent. Siraj, yes, slightly being a new in the setup, he hasn't played as much games as the other two have, but even he has bowled those great spells. I mean, whether you recall the Australia series or a few others, even in some other series that he has played at home, he has been one of those bowlers that you can easily turn up to. And I think with this ball, I mean, because still, at least for the next couple of days, you are expecting the weather to be slightly overcast. What we have seen in this game throughout, at least so far, the ball has been nipping around a little bit, but the swing has not really been prodigious. So you're not probably expecting a lot of swing or something of that sort. But
Right.
the fact that Mohammad Shami and even for that matter Mohammad Siraj, both of them have got the ability to kind of have some sea movement as well from the track. So that will be interesting to see how they actually go on to do their business. And not to forget, I mean, Jadeja. I mean, of course, we're not probably talking a lot about spinners, given how the game has panned out so far. Pacers dominating, Jimmy Anderson picking a fifer, and all of that. Probably because of that, you would not be expecting a lot to be talking about the spinners. But I think that Jadeja might as well come into game because as the game progresses, probably a little bit of rough developing outside the off stump, and which he can make use of. And of course, I mean, whenever you're talking about Jadeja, you're never talking about one single skill set because he is someone who brings a lot onto the table. So he's going to contribute with the bat, he's going to contribute with the ball, and he's going to contribute in the field as well. So I think Jadeja's role also will be crucial because as we move forward, you can expect spinners to have a little bit more say as compared to the day 1 and 2. So his role will be interesting to see as well.
All right, so that is of course kind of seeing what Team India would bring to the table with their bowling lineup as well. What do you all think? What's your take up? What should their strategy be? Definitely let me know in the comments. To everybody saying hi to us, hi from both Pratyay and me. Chandra Reddy also saying Joe Root. He's expecting some destruction from Joe Root. Well, that's one batter. Of course, the Indian bowlers will definitely be looking to get out quick. Dusri taraf, let's take a look at what's happening on social tracker. All right. So Michael Vaughan saying Test cricket is going bonkers. Now Jasprit Bumrah strikes someone with 550 Test wickets for 35 in an over. I'm pretty sure Wasim Jafar is sitting there quietly with his reply somewhere. Yeah, there you go. England saying that Indian total won't be that high. Meanwhile, Indian total. And this picture, if you all can recognize who these two players are, tell me that in the comments. Stuart brought to Jasprit Bumrah the batter and over to remember a record shashing over. 4 wide 4, no ball 4, 4, 4, 6, 1. Poor thing, Stuart Broad and his connect with expensive overs. Sachin Tendulkar saying, super stuff, Jadu, what a special innings. Like I said, I think these performances have been fantastic. Now to talk about Jadeja as another aspect which we covered. Chennai Super Kings saying 4-5-7, 4-4-4, 6-1. It's Broad getting UV-fied by Bumrah. Well, that's quite brutal if you were to put it across that way. Like I said, Broad and getting smacked all over the ground is not, something new to all of us. But to see Bumrah, the captain, Bumrah the batter, like BCCI said, quite an interesting performance. But before we wrap up, there was a very interesting comment saying that great match to watch, but rain always disturbs the good atmosphere of the game. So it's shameful. But when it's England weather and English conditions, you definitely expect the rain to have a game of its own. And I see a lot of comments coming in saying that we're not supposed to say Jadeja, we're supposed to say Sir Jadeja. Okay, if you guys want us to address him as Sir Jadeja, so be it. But before we wrap up, a quick word considering the weather has come into play as well. How would that pan out for the Indian bowlers now? And what are the two most crucial wickets they should be looking at? One is definitely Joe Root, who, they have to uproot him, because if he gets going, then there's no looking back. Who would be another batter that they definitely have to look out for? Or a partnership I think could prove to be pretty dangerous as a prediction, matter, and also with the rain conditions coming into 4K.
Well, I think, see, you really do not have any control over rain. I would really want that we get a result in this game, because so far it has been an enthralling game, and you want to get to a result, of course. But having seen the forecast, you're not expecting that much rain that the result would be in any jeopardy. So I think it's at least going to be a result that we are going to have on cards. And like I said, I mean, the pace at which this game is moving, and even the last 3 or 4 test matches, it has been so quick that even if you lose out on time, probably the things have happened enough quickly to kind of compensate for itself. So I mean, the runs at the pace at which the runs were scored, the wickets fell quickly. I mean, so it kind of makes up for itself. As for the Indian bowling, I think they have to make use. I mean, it's a great thing that they've managed to strike early. As I said, that England openers, the top order of England has always been jittery. I mean, you've never seen them performing really good in the last 2 to 3, 4 years, and I think
Right.
that is a problem which kind of continues. But apart from Root, if you have to take one name specifically for the kind of form he has been in, of course, there's Stokes, there are other players that you can talk about. But Johnny Bairstow, I mean, the way he has been batting against New Zealand, what he showed, what he's capable of, he is someone who exactly can play what Pant does for India. He is someone who can do that, and he can do that with the similar kind of effortless ease with which Pant can do that. Because you generally do not expect bowlers, your batters to hit the red ball with such merciless ease. But these players, I mean, whether you talk about Pant or even Bairstow for that matter, they're actually blurring the lines between T20 cricket and Test cricket. I mean, the amalgamation that you're seeing, they're playing like they're playing white ball cricket. So I think he is someone, because if he gets going and if he gets to a quick fire century, you do not know. I mean, suddenly things can change around. So I think one key wicket, if you're singling out Root, apart from that, if you have to look, it has to be Johnny Bairstow. And I think that Indian bowling has enough fuel and enough power in them to kind of control the game in their favor.
All right, seems like the J factor is a common thing. On one side, you have Jasprit Bumrah, दूसरी तरफ Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow. We'll have to see how that's going to pan out and who's going to eventually do the job for England as well in terms of batting. But दूसरी तरफ, of course, the bowling aspect, India does have, like how Pratay has said, they have the fuel in them. It's just a matter of time as to how quickly they will be able to get those wickets. Coming to the weather update as well, the weather forecast looks a bit dicey for the next couple of hours, but it might clear as the day progresses. Well, this is what the update is on the weather. But on that note, want to thank everybody for joining me in the studios, as well as Pratay for giving us his viewpoint about where this match is at the moment. Don't forget to join us as we continue talking everything about the 5th and final test match between England and India. Join us very soon, only on Cricket Tracker.